We have to repair the damages that have been done. So you're going to hear more about equity now, but a few of the things while we stand on this corner is important. We see all this development. We see, predatory developers coming into our community just trying to make a flip, speculating, trying to make a flip because the prices have been suppressed, artificially suppressed, because this land right here has always been 5 minutes from the Lake Washington that way, 5 minutes to the University of Washington that way, 5 minutes to downtown this way. This has always been valuable land, but just because black people were here, remember it's 4th of July. So they said all men are created equal, but then they said we represent 3/5. So that's 60 cents on a dollar. So when our properties get appraised, when it was us here, 60 cents on a dollar or less. We look at today's income. White family, 105,000. Black family in Seattle, 41,000. We're not even at 60% on the dollar, 40%. So we got to bridge that gap. It's not going to happen magically. It's going to only happen through equity being redistributed. Equity means ownership. Equity means dollars. Equity now means pay the fee. Right? So now we have companies coming in, and we look around, and we will speak. We do have the Liberty Bank building, which has come up to honor the history of Liberty Bank. My grandfather and many of his colleagues came together to found the first black and only black bank in Washington State in 1968. But it too was a victim of weed and seed and was taken out due to institutionalized racism, because they looked at the fact that, well, if you have us in a suppressed community, how are we going to be able to compete? Everyone has less money. So, well, we'll open up some banks downtown and other places. They said, no, you have to stay in the community. But they had all the other banks everywhere and in our community. So they said, well, if you take all the other banks out of our community, then we won't open up a bank in other places. But as long as they're in our community, we want to open up a bank downtown and so on and so forth. And so they penalized them. It really did a public lynching of the leaders of the bank for being what they would call uppity or arrogant, to think that they could compete as a bank with the other banks. And so Liberty Bank went out of service, and it became Key Bank for many years. And when Key Bank left, it was understanding that if Key Bank left, it would come back to the ownership of the community. And so when it closed, my father, Omari Salisbury, went up and put the sign back up, Liberty Bank. And they started a landmark process to have historic preservation. And they said it wasn't a landmark. The only black bank, they said it wasn't a landmark. But we said, you know what, whatever's going to be built here is going to be a living landmark and memorial to the legacy and the mission of what the bank was for, was to give black people access to economic mobility, to economic sustainability, to equity. But one building, and we found out they had given the land to another organization that wasn't part of the community. So we had to struggle to make it be what it is. And we still have to struggle to get full ownership. But one of these is not enough. Now, we're working on Africatown Plaza on the south side of this project. But again, we talk about equity. We look at 80% of this is owned by the same folks that own each one of these. And there was a deal, and we got 20%, but 80 and 20, is that equal? No. And they got the other 3 corners. So what we're saying at Equity Now is this is a time for everyone to step up and really be their best selves and take the proper actions. And so to the predatory developers, the proper action is to divest. To divest from all predatory development projects in the Central District to make way for equitable development that keeps and honors our community, brings our community back, allows our community again to grow and thrive and play. They got a whole city where they can own everything. We don't own anything, any industrial land down on the port, manufacturing plants. We don't own the commercial buildings, any of the high rises downtown. So the minimum thing we can own is the little bit of land that we had in the neighborhood that we was reserved to here in the Central District. So that's just a little to put the word out, but that divestment and a moratorium on all predatory development, the city can stop that and prioritize equitable development, and that's what the call has to be. That's what the action has to be towards. So the city can stop it through their processes, or the people can stop it through their own processes. But one way or another, we got to get the predatory development to stop. We got to get our equity back so that we can honor our parents and our grandparents. And I'll be back a little later to talk about a specific action that we could take today. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that, White King. Absolutely. And that's what our events are. We want to make sure you guys are staying educated, getting informed. Up next, and I just want to do two things. I want to give a shout out to all of our amazing vendors. They are lined up down 23rd. You guys, thank y'all for coming. They were here first and foremost. Please, go shop with those vendors today. And also, any artists who are supposed to be performing, any speakers or artists that may be out here, please make sure you make your way to the behind the stage here. This is our makeshift green room. I want to make sure we get anybody in the stage or in the audience that is supposed to be on stage. Please make your way to back here behind me. And next up, we have Ted Evans, who is another CD resident, been here a long, long time, and is still here now at Liberty Bank Building. Let's give it up for Ted Evans.
All right, Cody. Excuse me. How y'all doing? Good afternoon. This look pretty good. This look pretty good. Hey, first of all, can I get everybody to, let's get a chant. After I say central, I need y'all to say district, but I need y'all to, I need to feel it though. Can y'all get with me? Yes. Central? District. Central? District. That's kind of light. There's a lot of people out here. Maybe you guys need to stand up. Come on, stand up, stand up. Let me get some energy. Come on now. Let me get some energy. You guys ain't asleep, are you? We're just getting started. Come on. Central. District. Central. District. I need them to hear it down at the water. Central. District. Central. District. All right. That sounds a little better. You guys feel the energy a little bit, picking up a little bit? You know, the energy, come on, come on. All right. See, the energy that I'm trying to get to you guys is the energy that you will feel from somebody like myself or some of these other individuals that you see standing around here. See this? Been here since 70. Yeah, since 70. Been a long ride, you know, all around here. You know, it's been different, you know. Anybody out here remember what that used to be right there? What was that? Richlands. Man, one of the hottest mini marts, 24 hours a day, man, right there, man, get the best chicken. You know what I'm saying? I used to work right there, you know? They had the best chicken going on, you know? This spot right here has been so many spots, and this is still just crazy to us, you know, that they can do that, you know? I mean, it's a lot that goes on right here. These grounds are historic, you know? We bleed these streets, literally. When you see us walking around, some of us, I want to say this to some of our other folks, non-African American, that sometimes walk around and you might put your head down or turn or not be as friendly, you know. Say hello. We friendly around here. You know? For real. Man, we got a lot of love around here, man. Yeah, so, you know, when you see us, man, say something, man. Give us a pounder. You know what I'm saying? Don't, you know, be so abrasive, man. And, you know, let's love each other, man. We around here, so we got to get used to each other. But when you see us, no, we've been around here. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, so you guys is, you know what I'm saying, welcome, but, man, just know this is our land. You know what I'm talking about? This is us. So just let's open up to each other, you know? That's it. Let's have a good day and turn this thing around, man. District love, right? Central.
There's a brother that's not here that I got to give a shout out to named William Gibson. If you guys know him, his name's Hall. Hall got on my ass and was like, Aaron, you gotta form an organization, because LCB is Liquor Cannabis Control Board, was playing all kinds of games to deny black people access to the cannabis industry. Still are to this day. I can count on one hand how many people are in the industry. Right. One hand, right? Moving forward, we're talking about defunding the police. One of the very first things that taxation of cannabis does, it gives free money to the police. $2.8 million a year goes to the state patrol. That's atrocious. How does that work, right? The same day Carmen Best stood on a stage and advocated for safe spaces to consume heroin, black men were being arrested in the city of Seattle for weed. Yeah. In a legal state, the arrest of black men is up 80%. 80% for cannabis in illegal states, you guys. There's only one way we win this. The city is gonna have to be responsible for creating a social equity plan, because it should be embarrassing from Durkin on down that this city has never addressed the social equity issues. No, they don't want to, right? In that, the city's gonna have to be responsible for the same way that these buildings are being made to start giving up licenses to the black community. And those licenses have to be protected from predatory landlords that will jack the price up because a cannabis business is in there. We want city land to create black-owned businesses that are cooperatively owned by the neighborhood, not an individual. So everybody working from the front door, from security up to the top dog, is an owner. Cooperatively owned social equity business models. Those cooperatively owned business models should encompass the entire cannabis industry, not retail. It should encompass product and development. License is still not open up to the communities to create new product. There needs to be, the licensing should be from the city building all the way through funded taxation of dollars of any cannabis dollar. 100% of that money should come back to the black community, not to the general fund that goes to the city, that the city's paying these cops overtime to bust y'all in the fucking head with. Sucking it out of the community, right? In that as well, there needs to be access for small-time growers who want to grow in the closet in farmers market style, so that everybody can be involved in the cannabis industry, not just rich white guys. I would highly, highly suggest moving forward, and a resolution for this is start getting at your state reps, because this comes from a state level. Figure out who in your district represents you. Eric Pettigrew just sold this community out on his retirement so he could hang his hat on something, but he never addressed social equity as he was the state rep for this community. In 20 years, gentrification handled under Eric Pettigrew, a black man, and he did nothing to defend it. Gentrification doesn't happen without the war on drugs. There's not a system that does not work. Understand that. In order for us to take back what is ours, cannabis should be used as an economic means to create wealth in the community. You might not want to be in the cannabis industry, but why can't cannabis dollars give you a 1.1% loan, microloan, to create the business you want? I'm going to end here by saying, and I highly suggest everybody, go find your local street dealer and quit buying from the legal weed system.
Thank you so much, Aaron. You know, one of the things that we want to do here is, like I said, we need to bring the experts up. Aaron has been doing this fight, and so you guys are hearing from people that are on the ground working toward equity issues in every sector. Next up, you guys, I want to bring Bana Abara up. Her family, as a black family, was displaced from the cannabis industry. Let's give it up for Bana Abara.
What's up, y'all? How you doing? It's so good to see folks out here taking space on this intersection. My name is Bana Abera. I'm here to talk a little bit about my experience with my family who was active in the medical marijuana industry here in the Central District, and as an organizer with Decriminalize Seattle. So basically, my uncle, he owned a medical dispensary in the CD. I worked there for a few years during the period of transition between medical and recreational cannabis here in Washington. And so I witnessed firsthand a lot of things. One of the things I witnessed was the state terror that medical stores experienced, primarily black and brown medical stores, in which, as the transition to recreational, spots being open and the licenses, which I'll get into in a moment, were being dispersed. The state, both local police and state entities, were cracking down and doing raids, violent raids on a lot of medical dispensaries that were owned by black and brown people. And this, as someone who was working as a bud tender at this time, this created an intense sense of, anxiety, stress, fear, a lot of paranoia, and at the same time, trying to figure out how to get into or how to transition from the medical industry into the recreational industry. I know folks have spoken, so I'm hoping not to repeat too much of what other folks have said, but the fact that we're here on this intersection in front of Uncle Ike's, owned by Ian Eisenberg, who, in addition to being, the man behind Uncle Ike's, was so prominent and so powerful as an individual in the process by which not only the law was written, the way the policies were written, as someone who was on the board who was literally writing those policies, ensuring that it was as difficult as possible to navigate and access for black and brown individuals. What's the word? I dabble myself in cannabis use, but one of the things my good homie talks about, who doesn't smoke, is he says he loves cannabis because it turns all his friends into farmers, scientists, and entrepreneurs. And that's what I saw in my community, and that was my own experience, becoming very interested, in science through learning about the medical uses of cannabis. And so part of the problem with the way in which the licenses were dispersed, intentionally to not only split up people's, very limited first-time access to, creating their own individual and generational wealth for their families, but, people were growing and selling in the spaces, processing and selling in the spaces that they own. And so even the fact that they split up the licenses into, processing, growing, and distribution, and making it so that you couldn't own too many of those as an individual legally, was a way to tear apart, the infrastructure that folks had been, or the foundation, for economic stability that folks were building in our community. And that was, absolutely disgusting. Another thing that was fascinating to watch was that Ian Eisenberg himself went around and actually bought out a lot of medical dispensaries that were owned by black and brown folks. He came and asked my uncle himself to buy it out. And to be honest, he refused at the time because he thought he would have access to the recreational industry. And at this point, he's like, damn, I wish I would have sold it to him, which is messed up in and of itself. But the other piece is the 500 feet portion of the law. I don't know if folks have already spoken about this, but there was an intentional writing into the law that you couldn't have a cannabis location within 500 feet of a school. Even though we know that there was a youth center right here on this corner that was a stronghold for black organizing through the church that was located here. And it was a very intentional dismantling of that community that was building power here in the Central District for black people. And the fact that he was able to buy the property, close down that center, and push back against the fight, that the community did against him is just disgusting. Not to mention, the countless lives that were destroyed, right, of young black folks of all ages, really, but especially youth on this very intersection, on these 3 blocks, being incarcerated for selling weed that this man is now making millions of dollars a year legally. What about all of those people who spent years and years and years locked up behind bars? So not only is he building even more generational wealth, which, let's talk about generational wealth just for one moment. I'm gonna wrap it up because I don't want to take up too much time. But this current uprising that we're in at this moment, Black Lives Matter, right? Which is important, right? Because whose lives matter? Black Lives Matter! Right? So it's not just about, Black Lives Matter is about police and state violence against Black people, right? It's not just about the police coming into people's homes like they did Charlene Lyles in North Seattle and gunned her down in front of her children while she was pregnant, right? That kind of violence, but also the ways in which all of these institutions systematically terrorize our families, by kidnapping our young people and our elders and our fathers and our sisters and our mothers and putting them behind bars, but also dismantling any type of economic stability that could be provided if those folks are able to be home and in these communities, right? And so when we talk about generational wealth, the problem really is that generational wealth, right, which comes down to what? Property, right, which is what this whole institution, what all of these institutions are built on, right? The police were created to protect what? Property. Right? They were created to protect generational wealth that was built on the backs of Black and brown people in this country. And so the Uncle Ike's in and of itself is just a really disgusting, nauseating example, on a micro and also macro for us here in Seattle level in the way in which this has been happening for 400 years, And so we're here today, as far as I know, to say no more. No more. Right? We know that the state of Washington is profiting, countless millions, billions, I'm not sure the exact number of dollars on cannabis, and those dollars need to be reinvested into Black communities. Those dollars need to be reinvested to repair the harm that has been done, not just here in Seattle in the last 10 years almost 10 years now by Ian Eisenberg himself, but by countless, by just countless institutions and individuals who have profited to make sure that our communities stay unstable. So real quick before I go off, I want to say, my family is a family of immigrants. We come from Eritrea, from East Africa. We fled war, right? We are displaced people, just like many of us here, whether you're Black, whether you're Mexican, whether you're Native American, whether you're Southeast Asian, are here because we were displaced from our homes. And the reason why we were displaced from our homes is about American imperialism and American corporate greed. And that all comes right back down to anti-Black racism and the way in which we're seeing it play out right here in our very city. So, I just want to make sure that y'all are, thinking about not only the way that all of these things are interconnected, on the grand scheme of things, but for your own individual experience, right? So we're saying no more displacement of people, in underdeveloped countries, not developing countries, right? Because they're not developing. They were intentionally underdeveloped, just like the Central District was intentionally underdeveloped so that it can be broken down, destabilized, and dismantled, right? So they can keep us incarcerated, right? So they can keep 50% of the youth jail filled by Black youth, even though Black people only make 4% of the county, right? That's why we're saying no new. Right, so I'm gonna wrap it up because I feel like I'm rambling at this point because there's a lot to say, but I just appreciate all of y'all being here. I appreciate all of y'all being here, and I'm so grateful for the work of King County Equity Now and countless individuals who are working to make sure that we not only are standing up against police and state violence, but we're standing up against the hundreds of years of economic exploitation of our communities so that we see that reinvestment both through the defunding of SPD and through the reinvestment of the profit of cannabis dollars into Black communities here in Washington State. Thank you.
All right, you guys, we got one more speaker that's going to be talking about God Green, give you guys some more information before we have another performer. We're going to keep educating y'all today. That's what this is all about. Yes, 4th of July. Let's give it up for James Williams with God Green.
my Lord.
All right, thank y'all. Thank y'all. Appreciate King County Equity Now. Appreciate the event organizers inviting me to speak. I look up to all of the other speakers here, but I'm especially honored to share the stage with Aaron and with Bonner, talking about the cannabis equity piece. I want to start just by saying, God bless the children. I got my son here with me today.
God bless the kids.
And when I say that, I think about my children, all of the ones that we do this, the people that we're preparing a better world for. I also think about all of the people whose children we are, all the ones who came before us, who put in all of that work so that we could fight the fights and move the thing forward like we're going to move it forward today. In that vein, I'm not going to be up here too long, but I do want to share this. Earlier this morning, I was talking to my father. I let him know about the event that was happening. He taught me a lot of things I know, and I just asked him if there was anything he thought I should, like, what should I talk about? Anything that should be shared or lifted up in these times. And he told me, he says, my grandfather was a minister. He asked me if I ever heard or saw my grandfather's sermon where he talked about sheep in the wilderness. And I was like, huh? I was like, what you talking about? He said, yeah. He said, that's something you at least need to mention that if you talk today. And so I asked him what it was because I didn't know. I'll tell you just real quick. In the early 70s, my grandfather preached a sermon. And in the sermon, he said that the world, it was a lot of organizing had been happening, right? The world was on fire. Like not everything was going to change, but some things was going to change. And how much change, how much we move forward, or the world that his children got to grow up in, that was going to depend on how people showed up in those moments in the late 60s and the early 70s. And some people showed up, some people didn't. That's reality. I love the elders. Sometimes they talk about things like they did everything right, and if we could be like them, everything will move forward. My family don't talk about it like that. They did some things like that, but everybody didn't show up at the right time, and that's why we're fighting a lot of the same battles. We're in another one of those moments now, so we got to come together. We got to stand up. We got to talk to the ones who ain't out here with us, so they will be with us, And the other thing he said, just talk a little bit about yourself, about our story, what we went through, why cannabis equity matters to you, and tell them some of the things you tried to do. So I grew up, hold on just a second. Check this out. I grew up in kind of a big family. My father had 7 children. He didn't graduate from high school, or he didn't graduate from college, so he worked a lot of different jobs throughout us growing up. And I mean, we did all right. Sent most of us to college and everything. But it was times when he sold weed to make the ends meet, right? Like it was times when he had to make moves to keep food on the table and lights on and things like that. And that, it's important to me that he had those opportunities so that my family could have what they needed. Hold on, we're gonna come up to the present a little bit more. A few years ago, I think like in 2011, 2012, I was talking to a good friend of mine. I wish he could be here with us, but he gotten sick and he can't move around like he used to. I was talking to Ed Mayer, and it was a time when Washington State, I-502 had passed, and everyone was talking about the legalization, and nobody was sure how it was going to roll out, or we knew change was coming, but nobody knew what it would look like. And so I was talking to Ed, and Ed was like, it's good that, everybody not going to be getting harassed and locked up for a joint, for a bag and things like that. It's good there won't be no more possession charges, but there was a lot of families, a lot of individuals who were selling a little weed on the side to make ends meet, Our community is more unemployed and underemployed than anybody else. And sometimes we need a little extra. So if we take that away, if the big companies and corporations sell all the weed, what are we going to do to get by? You know what I mean? Does that mean people are going to have to sell more, like, substances that end up with more time if you get caught with them? You know what I mean? Like, nobody's just gonna let their family die. So what chances are we gonna take? What are we gonna have to do to move forward to get by? And then we thought about why the corporation's gonna make all of the money. Like, why does this just get signed over to them anyway? And so we came together, we started a little group who was called the Inclusion Committee. You know, we used to have meetings in Life Enrichment Bookstore. We brought people together who cared about marijuana equity and tried to help figure out how the law was gonna shake out, how the community was gonna be impacted. Man. I'll take it, I won't not take it. I appreciate that. So people started coming together to try to figure out what was going on, like what the rules were, and how we could get involved in a way that would serve us, our families, and our community. And in 2011, 2012, man, the rules kept changing. You had to have property, you had to have properties and business plans. You had to have a lot of things. Aside and trying to take more immediate opportunities in the medical market because that was more accessible. The legal thing, like, it's grown, and in a lot of ways it's turning out the way that we were scared that it would turn out. You know, people have gotten sick. Some people have had children, and off working with their families a lot. But it's like the need is still there. If the organizing doesn't gonna happen, the problem's just gonna get worse. I really appreciate the organizing that's going on that Aaron talked about. We need more. Everybody needs to get involved. Everybody should be doing something to add to the call for equity now. And just drawing on what my grandfather said about sheep in the wilderness and answering the moment, we should understand, like, the way organizing works is like you push for a long time. You put a lot of pressure there, and eventually you break through and you get something. We've been organizing for a long time. The world is on fire right now, and there's gonna be some concessions. We need to come together. We need to speak with one voice. We need to get some things that are gonna change the world for our children and our children's children. They don't have to be marching and fighting the same fights that we fighting. Let's let them have new fights. Let them make new mistakes and have greater dreams than we could ever imagine. I'm gonna just leave it at that. I appreciate being here, everything that went into preparing for today, and let's work together to make it a better tomorrow.
Thank you so much, James. You guys, it is time to get some music in our lives. Let's bring up Rail Be Free, Rail Be Free.
Wow, y'all stood up like you knew what it is. Do you know what it is? I think you do. It's all good. What's up, y'all? I'm blessed to be out here today. Thank y'all for showing up. Shout out to all the homies that's locked up for doing shit on this very corner. Still, need to free them all. Shout out to all the homies that grew up in the Central District, all throughout Seattle. I'm born and raised in the city. I got love for the whole city. And I'm looking here, I'm just gonna do some music for y'all. Is that cool? I got some new songs that ain't out yet, so I'm finna turn up. Y'all ready to vibe with me though? Yeah, go ahead and drop that first one, top spin. I wanna see if y'all can bop with me, okay? So you gotta do the dance that I'm about to do. And you can turn the beat up as loud as you want, okay? So I'm gonna show you when the beat drops, it's gonna look like this. If you ever see me dance, this is how I move sometimes. Yeah, yeah. Dolomite, hold the light to my face, yeah. That's alright, you don't like what I say, yeah. Give a fuck what you want, that's okay, yeah. Got some toys in the trunk if you play, yeah. Dolomite, hold the light to my face, yeah. That's alright, you don't like what I say, yeah. You can talk if you want, that's okay, yeah. Got some toys in the trunk if you play, yeah. When y'all move with that talk, you can miss me. Take it here, throw it back, yeah, like a frisbee. I ain't playing hacky sack. I was on the college campus, niggas looking for me, but they know I'm catching all the lamps. Light in the street, yeah, light when it's deep, then you gon' lose, don't snooze when you sleep, yeah. Watch out for your back, cause they just might come attack you in your bathroom. You don't know, nigga, that's who do you, and it moves through whole city crazy. Lately they been shooting niggas with they babies. R.I.P. to Sean, R.I.P. to Warning, R.I.P. to Pete, that's my nigga, homie. Rolling through this city and I got it on me. And I tell a story, hope you see the allegories. I be Robert Horry, waiting for my shot. When I take it, better drop. Nigga headed to the top and they see me. Yeah, I ain't got no Lamborghini. Yeah, but I got legacy inside of me. Yeah, I see the light is right in front of me. Yeah, vibe with me. Dolomite, hold the light to my face, yeah. You don't like what I write, what I say, yeah. Give a fuck what you want, that's okay, yeah. Got some toys in the trunk if you play, yeah. Dolomite, hold the light to my face, yeah. That's alright, you don't like what I say, yeah. Got some toys in the trunk if you play, yeah. What? Got some toys in the trunk if you play, yeah. Y'all make some noise for the sound man one time. R.I.P. to all the homies, all the people that have lost their life to police violence. Charlena Lyles, Sean Fuhrer. This earlier this week, My Chance, R.I.P. to My Chance. I had the opportunity this week to have spent some time. There we go, John T, R.I.P. I had the chance to sit down and have conversations with Oscar Perez Giron's mom and sister and brother. And it's a problem, y'all. And that's why we keep saying, pay the fee. Now, where's Big Bro White King at? He told me, he said, Ray, I need you to make a pay the fee song because we need to put some culture into it. And so I made a song last week. It's a fresh song. It's called Pay the Fee. And I need y'all to rock with me. But let me y'all say, pay the fee. Pay the fee. Pay the fee. Look, Ian Eisenberg, he gonna have to pay that goddamn fee, y'all. Hey, PCC gonna have to pay the fee. Shout out to all the Latinx homies, but Taco Chuki's gonna have to pay the fee. Real talk. How we go from a neighborhood 60 years ago, 70% black.
140 years ago.
140 years ago, even just 60 years ago, it was all ours. And you telling us we not here no more? The what? So all you white folk that got houses, a part of giving up your privilege may mean giving up some of your property. This is racialized capitalism. We can figure out the racial problem. We still gonna have economic disproportionality. So all you white folk is cool. And even the black folk with money, everybody with money, it's cool. Black lives matter. Yes, we know that. I don't wanna hear it. I wanna see that shit. Pay the fee? Pay the fee? Pay the fee? All right, drop that second one for me. You can keep bopping too. Yeah. You know what you owe me. Pay it up or blow me. No, you ain't my homie. I can't keep it low key. If you gotta show me, you gon' have to sway me. All I show is love, and so I wonder why you hate me. Pay the fee. 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 Give me that. Rep for the hood and I put it ahead. All of the bullshit I'm making it dead. Fuck up the punishment. Fuck up the government. You don't want to give me that. That's my dread. Give me the bread. Give me the land. Say you but that's what you sit with the feds. Niggas don't know about that. You ever cap in your rap? Came from the flow, from the plateau. All that I feel is the fact song. I got a rep for the black folk. I got a rep for the black folk. Represent for indigenous. Y'all can't be serious. This shit got me furious. Who talking? talking about gang truces. We hang from the same nooses. I seen the article, the media is translucent. Cause we see through it, never gotta think twice. I might ride tonight, shit, I just might die tonight. Let's live though, do this for my kids though. They say that the truth hurts, I feel like I'm Lizzo. Shout out to them black queens, coming from a black king. Shine out in the darkness, man, I guess it's just a black thing. Cuddy.
They continue to suffer. That's why it's okay for them to take the lead. But what we really need is for their bosses to pay the fee.
Yeah, you know what you owe me. Pay it up or blow me. I can't keep it low-key. No, you ain't my homie. If you gotta show me, you gotta persuade me. All I show is love, and so I wonder why you hate me. Pay the fee. Pay the fee. Pay the fee. You gon' pay the fee. Pay the fee. Pay the fee. Pay the fee. Who gon' pay the fee? Hold up. This is the switch up. I need y'all to listen. Yeah. Homage to do homage, how much do we have in common? Do say to D-Dub, we link it up, it's an army. 5 Station 6, give me that moratorium on rent. Give me that. I need that South End property, probably sound transit, holding it for prophecy. A lot of poverty contrasts with the wealth, and they do hate you. They just do it with some stealth. Word to them little looters and young shooters holding Ruger from Yesler to Martin Luther. We said pay the fee, and this is paying we, ain't paying me. That's the only way to be A to Z. And if you ain't make me, then you can't hate me. So all you opportunists, sus and sidekicks, one side stupid and the other side rich, keep the climate. And when the rain falls, don't be crying. We on the high road to Zion, flying. I'm a Cancer, still a lion. I ain't lying, yeah. I'ma need y'all to rock with me on this last one real quick. You know what it is.
For their bosses to pay the fee.
Yeah, pay the fee. Pay the fee. Pay the fee. You gon' pay the fee, yeah. Pay the fee. Pay the fee. Pay the fee. You gon' pay the fee, yeah. Make some noise, y'all. Turn up one time. All I got is my heart. All I got is my soul. Shit, I feel like Malcolm on his soapbox. Auntie Jacques, nigga, I ain't calling no cops. Jean-Jacques Dessalines plus Toussaint. I'm King and Kwame mixed with Tupac. FBI's most wanted, that's word to Asada. I feel like the only son, word to my mama. I'm Jomo Kenyatta, I'm Angela Davis. Niggas tripping if they thinking somebody gon' save us. It's time to move like Black Panthers, feet to the pavement. They ain't never fall fair, fuck the rules of engagement. You think you free, but you just chained into the new enslavement. So when I lay it down flat, they say I never make it. What? Pay the fee? 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 Bro, be free, one love. Shout out to African Town, it's all good.
Today. All right, you guys, we got to give it up for one of our Central District born and bred leaders. Yes. Y'all, so many of y'all out here have seen him pounding the pavement year after year, building businesses, mentoring folks, working in the city, changing things from the inside. Let's give it up for Shakundi Salisbury.
Man, was that powerful or not? Pay the fee. 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 Man, that was powerful. I love it. I got the whole thing on tape. I love it, man. That was dope. Listen, my name is DJ Love. Some of y'all know me as Shakundi Salisbury, and I'm from the bricks right here. I moved several times as a kid growing up here in the CD. I graduated from Garfield High School. You know, I know there's a lot of Bulldogs in the building. But at this point, it's like he said on the song, it's from the CD to the South End, and we just need all the land, as my brother White King talks about. Okay? But one of the things I want to talk to you all about today is we need love in our hearts, y'all. We're going to work on the policy, as Brother Aaron Bassett said, the cannabis policies. We're going to bring those laws back to help us, the people that's from this community, the black people that was locked up on this block. I was here during Weed and Seed. I remember the sign going up, and I remember the dream that was sold to us. The dream that was sold to us, they said we was going to get new community centers. We was going to have all of this opportunity. We was going to have all of this great stuff. I remember when the Weed and Seed flyer was going around. I was a young person right here in this community, and we got sold a dream, okay? And so we tired, and we not taking it no more. We demanding. We are demanding action. King County Equity now has a list of demands, and we need all of them. We need all of them. I'm tired. I'm tired of taking the L. Okay? Every year we elect people, or people come into our community and they talk to us about how they're going to do all this great stuff for us. Policies like Weed and Seed come out and they talk about how all of these people of color will be helped. All of the opportunity that we are going to get. We're tired of taking the L. Okay? If you're tired of taking the L, put your L's up. Put your L's up. We're not taking no more L's, y'all. Okay? The L is for loss, for anybody that don't know. Okay? Yes, we want to live. Right? The L could be live. But I'm talking about loss. I grew up in this community. Okay, for many of y'all that don't know a little bit of history, I used to run Garfield Community Center as well. The mural on the side of the bathroom, the We Love Garfield mural, I made that mural. Me and my man Hiawatha D. Thank you. That mural has been up for nearly 22 years now. And my name is right on the side there, the women's bathroom. It says Cut Love. So if you worried about, is this guy really from here? It says 1998 Cut Love right on the wall there. So I literally, like she said, I've been in this community and I've been working on our behalf for years. And what I'm tired of is the progressive policies and dreams that get sold to this community. It always comes in on some progressive that's my word that I've coined through this effort, is that it's really progressive that stuff that sounds amazing, like Weed and Seed did, right? Because I was here, to tell the truth, I ain't gonna lie, like when they came out with the flyers and how Weed and Seed was gonna look, a lot of people got took. A lot of people said, oh, that sounds dope, right? Which is why we in the situation we in now. But I want to tell y'all what we need to do is encourage each and every one of us to read between the lines. We're not drinking the progressive Kool-Aid because it always results in black and brown people taking the L every time. As White King mentioned, black wealth is less than 60, it's less than 60%. Okay, I was looking at the figure. It's like 111,000 for white families, 46,000 for black families in Seattle. And we all know that low income is 77,000 or whatever. At the end of the day, black people are living way below the minimum and low income in this community. Yet and still, year after year, we're told that we're going to have policies and things that are going to make it better for everyone. We were sold the dream on many things. We were sold the dream on cannabis. It all sounded great. People voted for it. It's going to be opportunity. They talked about tax dollars that were going to come back to our community. They talked about how there was going to be tax dollars that was going to come out and help education in our community. I contend I have not seen those dollars. Have you seen those dollars? No. Again, you saw them, brother? You seen them? Okay. I'm just saying, I saw a hand go up. Maybe he saw it, I don't. But at the end of the day, that's just another thing that we were sold the dream on. Okay? And we, in fact, have taken another L. Costco sold us the dream on the liquor thing, right? We were sold a dream on the cannabis thing. At the end of the day, black children are getting the L in school. We taking the L in the wealth gap, right? We continue to be murdered by the police, and it's not right. So what I want y'all to do today, everybody here has had a call to action, but what I want you to do is I want you to make sure that everybody you know is registered to vote, okay? I want y'all to make sure that everybody you know is registered to vote. Local elections matter. Like my man Aaron Bassett said, we need people at the state level. That's where this cannabis policy is being made. And we're not at the table. The people that's supposed to be at the table sitting down with us are not sitting down with us. We are not being included, and we are taking the L. And the way that we can do that right now is keep our foot on the gas, okay? But we need to vote. The election is coming up on August 4th. Make sure you encourage everybody that local elections matter, and we need people in office that love us. And that's why I said I love y'all. I love you. I love you. I love you. And I just want you to love yourself and love your community. And love people that don't look like you. Love people that don't sound like you. That means when you go to work on Monday and you see that job where they got an all-white panel and you know that sister who's been working there 22 years deserves that job and they get passed over, it ain't just in the streets, y'all. We need to change it systematically. And certainly we're going to have elected officials that we hold accountable, but I really want y'all to think about how you're going to hold yourself accountable. How are we individually going to speak up, right? We got a lot of keyboard warriors. We're going to share the post. Oh, that's unfair. That's too bad, right? But how many of us go to work or go to jobs where we see unfair practices and we don't check our coworkers on it? How many times have you seen the panel and they didn't have no people of color on the panel talk about they want to have people of color and black people in these positions? How many times? We see that, right? We got to do something about that on your level. We're going to continue to march, and we're going to continue to do what we're doing, but we need to take personal responsibility for systemic change. We're going to work on these laws, but we got to work on our neighbors and our coworkers and our family members on their heart, because that's part of the problem, y'all. And like my friend Willard told me, and he said it, that we want to live march, and I've been saying it ever since. How do you know what justice looks like for us if you don't love us? I'm going to say that again. How do you know what justice looks like for us if you don't love us? So I want y'all to love each other and hold everybody accountable and make sure you go to vote on August 4th.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, Shakundi Salisbury, DJ Con Love. Been out here doing it for the community for a long time, you guys, and I have a young artist coming up. Miss Nikki, who is about to spit some fire for y'all. Let's give it up for Nikki.
My name is Mama Nikki. Can you hear me in the back? If you can hear me, clap twice. If you can hear me, clap twice. Black Lives Matter. Black trans lives matter. Black queer lives matter. Fuck ICE. Yo, I'm gonna do this set for Manny Ellis down in Tacoma. I live in Tacoma. I can't afford to live here. The only time I've ever lived in Seattle with the Seattle zip code is with a partner. That was only a year. I would like to. Ever since I was a kid, I wanted to live in Central District. Still can't. So everybody that's been moved out, this is for you. This called All of My Kin. I'm gonna need a little assistance with it. We're fighters and queens, doing tangible things. And when we done with these fiends, we'll make magical beings. All over the world, from London to Prague, take a million a year to the pit of the fuck. And we conquer them all, and they're big when they grow. So we coming for them with a chip in the grit. And I see you again. We'll never be friends, cause you know you're a pig in the womb she's skin. And you wanna come in, I ain't care where you been, cause I'm done with your sweeps and the killing of our kin. You won't take all of my kin. Can I get a look at that? You won't take all of my kin. Cause the pit of my stomach makes me wanna do something. Free me from the emotions. I don't wanna be tokens. Take me back to the problems where it all got started. We'll be little wiser. I won't let you mold this. If they wanna take me back to battle, I dare you with all my ammo. Look at you. My family has come to challenge. Let's go. All the ways that you were damaged. I won't take you in the dark. Every SPD. I'll make sure your world stars. Jenny Durkin. So everybody knows your heart. You're nothing but a falling star. Say it again. You won't take all of my kin. You won't take all of my kin. Fast, let's go. In my stomach makes me wanna do something. Free me from the emotions. I don't wanna be tokens. Take me back to the problems where it all gets started. We'll be little ways. I will let you mold us. You won't take all of my kin. Let me hear you. Take all of my kin. Say it again. You won't take all of my kin. One more time. You won't take all of my kin. Yo, so I'm gonna do one more. You know, we got a lot of folks in the street. We got a lot of people that have been hurt. But I want to make sure that there's still that joyful spot for us. So this one's called We All Rising Up. Cause we're not gonna stop. We're not done. We're not even close to done. We just getting started. Shout out to Ready Ron Beats.
Ready, Ron Beats.
So we all rising up. If you know it, you can sing it too. Cause I'm not gonna stop. So we all take it, they will take it. Then they'll work you, don't let it break you. Cause you can make your own ways, make your own plans. Yeah, you can, we can. Take the time out your day to day and make plans for the babies. Give thanks to the greats, give homies to the names. Ancestors made the way. Aaron Douglas on the walls, Nikki Giovanni in the halls. And if you lose your thoughts, there's some holy ground plots from alphas and omegas, the deltas and the zetas, the kappas and iotas, the AKA. All out on the yard, give them all some love, y'all. Cause we all rising up from the CD. And I'm not gonna stop. Terrain and beach. So we all rising up. Depth to Big and Hill. And I'm not gonna stop. They try to take us to races, make us live on our cases. And when you openly racist, that's why we build up these places. A family is born, only Seattle people know. A high education's what we need, but we got more. Looking around you and what you will see. Our doctors and teachers, artists and writers, music and dancers, actors and fighters. We all want the same thing, so take it from me. Cause it can be a long journey, but you will see a legacy appearing out of me. Cause what we love is here, and how we love matters. Cause what we love is here, and how we love matters. How we love matters. Yeah. So we all rising up. Come on, Sierra. And I'm not gonna stop. So we all rising up. And I'm not gonna stop. So we all rising up. Don't stop. And I'm not gonna stop. Come on, y'all. So we all rising up. And I'm not gonna stop. One more time, y'all. So we all rising up. What we gonna do? And I'm not gonna stop. Yeah, my name is Mama Niggy. Thank you to Africa Town, King County Equity. I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm so excited. I am pumped up. Are y'all pumped up out there? Are y'all enjoying the 4th of July? Right on. So next up, we're going to bring to the stage one of the people who literally said, you know what? This is what we got to do. We got to pull the groups together. We got to create a coalition and go after our demands. Let's give it up for one of our community members and board member of ACLT and one of the lead brains of KCEN, Isaac Joy.
Hello. If everyone could just start out and just do a circle real quick. Everyone could just do a real circle, just in. I just wanted to see if people do it. I don't know. No, here, I'm with KCEN, King County Equity Now, African Town Community Land Trust. And I just want to talk a little bit about what King County Equity Now is. So King County Equity Now is a coalition of community-based, Black-led organizations that are fighting to achieve equity. I think that's incredibly important. What we're trying to do is we're trying to elevate the groups that have been on the ground, that have been doing this work, that are connected to the Black community and that are accountable. I think that's incredibly important. I think a number of folks have talked about this being a moment where change is going to happen and power will be transferred. And I think it's incredibly important that in these moments, we elevate the people that are on the ground, that are accountable, that know how to do the work, and that have been doing the work. And that's what King County Equity Now is trying to do. The only other message that I'll try to get across is that there's been a lot of really, really, really great energy that's been created over the last, weeks, months. And what we're really trying to do is channel that energy into concrete, tangible change for the Black community. And that's really, really important. It's great. It's great for everyone to gather. It's great to build community. It's great to be here and hold space. But it's also equally important that we leverage this moment for real, real, real change. It's 2020. It's 2020. And one of the underlying philosophies that really form our vision is racial realism. And racial realism is the understanding that it isn't emancipation, civil rights, Obama. It's not we're slowly moving towards progress. That's a myth. It's since the emancipation, it's been 200 plus years, and we still don't have, Black wealth is still near zero. So some of the most critical metrics have not moved and are not moving. And so we're trying to disrupt that understanding that we're moving towards progress, and understand that if we're going to make change, it's going to require all of us to do things differently. It's going to require us to dream of a future that's bigger than what we're living in right now. And I think for me, that's the most exciting thing when you look at the allies and the partnerships and the community. We're asking folks to get behind the Black community and support, to let them lead. But I think there's also an opportunity for us to look and think of a bigger, brighter future where we're coming together here, where when we create equity, not just for the Black community, it reverberates throughout our entire city. If we have a thriving Black community in the Central District, we have a thriving Seattle. So I hope y'all get behind this. Please follow KingCountyEquityNow.com. We will have so many more demands. We will have tons of calls to actions to make real change. So I hope you guys stick in this, make this a movement, not a moment. Thank you.
No, I didn't. Okay. Thank you, Isaac. Isaac Joy. Much appreciated, man. You guys don't even know. We've been burning the midnight oil. Let me tell you, trying to get these demands down and build this coalition so that we can actually create the new normal. You guys know this woman. Many of you do. I got to give it up for my girl, Nikita Oliver. Thank you so much, community. Can y'all show love for Africatown and King County Equity Now for organizing all of this? I want to thank our bike brigade. I want to thank all of the cars that came out. I want to thank all of our security team, folks you might see wearing teal armbands. Can y'all show some love for people who are out here willing to do the work of keeping us safe? I want a real round of applause. So we're out here because we want to be adding the solutions of what it looks like to actually move towards equity. We have spent 30 days in the street in the current uprising, putting pressure on the political establishment to respond to not just the needs, but the solutions of the Black community. And all too often what we hear during these uprisings is that they don't know what to do. I don't know if you've watched any of Mayor Durkin's press conferences where she has spoken consistently in political platitudes. Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. She's spoken consistently in political platitudes. She has said the quote-unquote progressive thing, but failed to take actual progressive action. And I would actually argue she's taken right-wing action. But the solutions are there.
The solutions are there. King County Equity Now, Africatown, and the many Black-led organizations that have signed on to those solutions. We are bringing forward what we know will help our community thrive, and what we will do, what we know will repair our community. Is why King talks about we need reparations. We need to repair rations. It is not enough to treat people equally who treated unequally for hundreds of years. We must first move through a period of equity, and we demand that now. And the goal of King County Equity Now is to look at the many areas, markets, industries, and spaces in which Black folks have been pushed to the bottom. And not just pushed to the bottom, to be quite frank, many industries have been built on our backs and the exploitation of our labor. And so we're going to put forward what the intersectional solutions look like to bring Black folks to the place where we should have already been. Across from us right now is PCC. Now I want to be real. I shop at PCC over in Columbia City because I like good, healthy food. But if we really think about the dynamics that have allowed community markets like PCC to exist, it is displacement and exploitation of neighborhoods where Black and brown peoples have made those neighborhoods culturally viable, and then those neighborhoods are gentrified, and markets like this one benefit upon us being displaced and exploited. We deserve to have co-ops in neighborhoods that we have made popular. Because we know people love Black things. We know people love Black shit Black people have made popular. How many of y'all listen to hip hop? We are the ones who were redlined to a community in this region and made this community a viable, thriving community. You see our faces on Uncle Icky's right here. You see Black people as images, but we do not get to be flesh and blood 3D folks in our communities. Our spaces get turned into museums in which we do not get to exist, and we demand that we set that right. What do I want to see? I want to see this market, this co-op here, made completely owned by Black people, a Black-owned grocery store and co-op on 23rd and Union in the Central District. Reparations is not only going to happen based on elected officials putting legislation in place. The truth of the matter is, white folks who own things could decide just to give them up and give them over. On this corner, many of our Black relatives went to jail for drug charges. Many received gun enhancements. And yet we have seen white cannabis industry owners be able to profit on the same product that we went to jail for. We're demanding an immediate change of that. And we have many solutions for it, but I'm going to read 7 of them to you. Ready? The first is to reallocate the cannabis tax revenue that goes to the state general fund and invest that money in an equity fund for Black and Native communities to enter the cannabis industry. The second is the legalization of home grows for personal use, which forces Black people to shop in places that do not serve or employ us equally, which is inherently traumatic. Because of this, there are Black, Indigenous people of color who are growing illegally, quote unquote, and avoiding taxes, which is completely reasonable. However, this puts us at risk of disproportionate policing of cannabis laws. And so we ask that there be a legalized framework for home grows so that Black folks, Indigenous folks, and people of color can still grow at home and protect ourselves against prosecution. Our third solution is use tax dollars from the state given to the city of Seattle each year and redistribute to Black communities. In 2019, that was $1.2 million. So let's see that redistribution. Fourth, require the city of Seattle to create 100% Black nominated elected board and committee that also includes indigenous people of color, and that plan be implemented for the distribution of new social equity retail licenses in the city specifically. And I know some of this is jargon. We will have it written out and ready for you to experience, but people are live streaming. We want to make sure the demands get out there. 5, education-centered reparations fund funded by cannabis for people who are incarcerated for cannabis-related charges and or their children to promote educational access and generational wealth in Black communities. I want you to understand how much money is made off of cannabis. All of Medicaid in our state is paid for by the taxes from the cannabis industry. And then the leftover gets put into the general fund. There is so much money made off of cannabis that we could literally use those funds to create equity for Black and Native communities, and it needs to happen now. In Washington State, approximately 80%, I want you to lock this number in, 80% of all cannabis-related arrests ended in felonies for Black men between the years of 1990 and 2017. In all cannabis-related felonies and all related offenses, we want to see those all be expunged. Misdemeanors is not enough, y'all, because that stat I just gave you told you that approximately 80% of all cannabis-related arrests ended in felonies for Black men between the years of 1990 and 2017. So when they tell you that they have vacated misdemeanors, what they are doing provides absolutely no relief for the Black community. And so we demand that they make significant strides on expunging felonies and all related offenses. And I want to end with a call to action. Historically and presently, we celebrate August as Black August. All 31 days, we celebrate it as Black August. We are asking that during the month of August, we ask all local cannabis shops to donate their net proceeds to King County Equity Now for the Cannabis Equity Work Group. Lux Pot Shop, pay the fee, pay the fee, pay the fee. One pot shop has already taken strides in this direction. Lux Pot Shop modeled what this can look like by donating their net proceeds from June 19th, which is Juneteenth, to June 26th to King County Equity Now. We are asking that other pot shops follow the same model, and that for the entire month of August, they donate their net proceeds to our cannabis industry work group, and that after August, every first Friday of the month, their net proceeds go to King County Equity Now, from now until forever. It is not enough to talk about equity. It is not enough to put Black Lives Matter on your store, because let's be real, some of y'all put Black Lives Matter on your lawn and in your windows because you don't want your shit to get broken. So if you're gonna put it up there, we want to see some real action. Don't be like these faux progressive politicians that use our language and take right-wing action. We will no longer accept that. This uprising has to continue. This political pressure must continue to be put on the political establishment, the business industries that have exploited our capital and our labor for hundreds of years, until they finally commit to making significant strides towards equity. And we demand that that happen as it relates to the cannabis industry. Pay the fee. Pay the fee. And for all y'all out here that are pot smokers, I'm gonna ask that as we post shops that have committed themselves to this equity work group, that you only buy from those shops. If a shop is not committed to seeing Black folks get into the cannabis industry, they are not a shop that we should mess with. Because that means that they are willing to build their profit and their business on the backs of displaced and exploited Black peoples, and we are done with that. So keep your eyes on the King County Equity Now website. Follow the Instagram. We can continue to build this Black-led movement. So what are we going to do? Pay the what? Pay the fee. Pay the fee. Pay the fee. Pay the fee. Thank you, y'all. Yes. I don't know about y'all, but I'm feeling really good right now. It feels like Seattle is about to lead this nation when it comes to building a new normal. Pay the fee. Pay the fee. I love it, y'all. Up next, we have a local performer who's been doing it for so many years. I watched this brother pound the pavement for decades, literally. Let's give it up for A-Son.
Respect, respect. Can everybody hear me? Yeah. Yo, I grew up literally 1 block away at 25th and Union. My grandmama's house was taken due to, predatory land buying practices, developers showing up. So I have witnessed gentrification firsthand. I'm a product of the Central District and of Seattle. I work down at Washington Hall in the Central District. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to have a whole lot of things to talk about. But y'all know what's up. Can I get a pay the fee? Pay the fee! No, y'all can say it a little bit stronger. Say it like you're saying it with your wallet. Pay the fee! Pay the fee! That's right, that's right. All right, so I'm going to rock this one cut real quick. Just press the side button and swipe it. Yeah. We in? You turn it on. My elders and ancients. Yeah. I shall proceed and continue to walk the walk. Man, listen. Ancient is my tradition. It's gonna take a nation of millions, man, listen. Ancient is our tradition. It's gonna take a nation, man, listen. Ancient is our tradition. It's gonna take a nation of millions. It's gonna take a nation. My crew was so dope, but you already know though. From the city to soul, go home with the beat with the bars and the truth and the mongrels in direct opposition to garbage they keep giving you negative, stereotypical, counterintuitive visuals, conducive to doing nothing. Building futures off of frontin' and some maybe it's laziness. Hoping to get paid, perpetuating some hate. That's some craziness. That ain't the way to go. To take its toll. Slave owners ain't professionals and breaking souls. You better act like you say you know. All summer long they been snatching up our babies, homie. Want it all, it's only natural to say that, homie. But the fall, sell your soul to make that money. I mean, come on, respect the culture and they can't act funny. Castle walls made of dreams that they can't take from you. Castle walls made of dreams that they can't take from you. Nicholas, ancient is my tradition. It's gonna take a nation of millions, man, listen. Ancient is our tradition. It's gonna take a nation, man, listen. Ancient is our tradition. It's gonna take a nation of millions. It's gonna take a nation. The world we live in, racist puppets and henchmen. The people can only protest with the oppressor's permission. As long as it causes problems, pockets of politicians, they not stopping the checks. Got murderers of our children. No drinking water or power for their hospitals. Territory demolished. They was charging them for resistance, but they citizens too. Only policies authorized was to get rid of you. And confusion's a tool. Hey, the oldest in office been taking the focus off truth. They'll make them a coffin as soon as they graduate school. Perpetual debt is the cost of a country at few. Tax breaks for the richest man, the shit isn't cool. Silent for a minute, amplify my position. Circumstances and victims till conditions improve. The reason it's called a movement, cause there's shit you can do. Envision the truth, intentionally make decisions to move. Listen, ancient is our tradition. It's gonna take a nation of millions, man, listen. Ancient is my tradition. It's gonna take a nation, man, listen. Ancient is our tradition. Gonna take a nation of millions. Do it for the children. Man, listen. As we stand on occupied Duwamish land, Coast Salish territory, I give all thanks and praises and respect for the community that raised me and the essence that was brought forth to bring us all together today. Don't let it just be talk. Let's move. And y'all can check me out online at Santonio Bandanas on everything.
Oh my gosh, you guys, let's give it up for Santonio Bandanas. Hey, son. We gonna keep this energy going, y'all. We got another local for y'all. Been doing it. His family's been here, settling their roots. Let's give it up for Yidam Sack.
Yo, yo. How y'all doing? I said, how y'all doing? From the back to the front, how y'all doing? We good? I just want to know. So my name is Yidam Sack. One time for everybody who's blessed this stage. Can we make some noise for them real quick? From the bottom to the top. I'm honored to be here. So yeah, I'm a Central District native. I've been in here 38 years. 38. I'm 38, literally. I grew up down the street. I've never lived more than 5 blocks away from my original birth home. So when we have this conversation of gentrification, I seen it unfold in real time. When they came and planted that tree right there in front of this brick building, my mother said to me, "Hey, yo, look, they're planting trees out front." And I was like, okay. She goes, but guess what? They're not for us. She knew they had a long-term plan. Like, they played a long game. They plant those little saplings, but they know 40 years from now you ain't gonna be sitting under them. So it's real. What's up? Let's run that. One time, make some noise for yourselves. See if I can take y'all to Africa real quick. Ah. Give it up for Top Spin. Out here killing the game. Turn me up. How's that? Volume up. Can y'all hear that? Feel free to pull it in. Yeah. What's up? Yo, where I'm from, your homeboys couldn't own the town. Where respect is based upon the vocal sounds. Them town folks in villages whisper word of mouth. If it's beef like them ranchers, we gon' herd them out. No click, clack, boom, just boombayes talking murder now. Rich tycoons consume their dreams, they live them out. Need mass in the massive mansion, people hear me out. What's gossip is kind of gorillas, blood deliver out. Like hand slaps and djembes, the land that produced them Jaiman Hansus, Matumbo, the Kimbes. Fresh knit coolies and pipeback Kintays, Kalashnikov AKs that spray till empty. Dictate, be aware of what your dick say. Them badass sisters will set you up every which way. Them passport schemes and seams. How they get paid, machetes and paradigms still alive, getting filleted. Hey, what's up? Yeah. In my province, yeah, we often keep a kill code. Move a caution, make you empty out your billfold. We ain't impressed with your repairable word and brand clothes. Come about the retros, we'll take your soul. Yeah, the youth is hungry and want food up in their mouthpiece. They keep it indoors cause they can't afford that out-eat. Violent vigilantes can't be helped with outreach. Move with caution, keep it floss and get your house breached. Living conditions, malnutrition, that's unhealthy. And you wonder why we robbing, moving stealthily. They usurp and move earth, let them bells ring. I stay boxing for my continent's well-being. Blink, stay adorned with the bloodlines. My fam's royalty, you wonder what my bloodline is. Creoles and we borrow with no co-signage. Matte black skin looking like we coal miners. Here to stay, that's to say like we carbonated. What you hear, it's just a setup for a larger cable. It's not about what you sell, it's what you tell merchants. I had to pass on that deal once the real surface. Yeah. In my my province, yeah, we often keep a kill code. Move with caution, make you empty out your billfold. We ain't impressed with your apparel, wearing brand clothes. Come about them retros, we'll take your soul. In my province, yeah, we often keep a kill code. Move with caution, make you empty out your billfold. We ain't impressed with your apparel, wearing brand clothes. Come about them retros, we'll take your soul. One time for hip hop. Hey, so I got one more for y'all. Can I hear y'all saying, hey yo? Hey yo! You gotta say that shit so loud that the motherfuckers hear you. When they pull that fuck shit, and excuse my French, you gotta be like, hey yo! Not today. What's up? Let's go. Nope, number two. Hey yo. That's all right, I know subconsciously y'all wanted to hear that shit again. That's what that was. Woo! Can y'all hear me? You all right? Yeah. We got a fuckboy in the White House. He don't like niggas when it's wiped out. He don't like Tinos, but he likes half. They till it up and they cook it down. Yeah. To the natives, yes, in their nature. Protect the water, don't let them take it. Laying pipes down, we in the fight now. Let it wipe down, let us say a prayer. Making salad up in the mashed yeah. Peace be upon us, what they asking. They dropping bombs to fill their gas can. They swing batons, they popping black head. It's a war on drugs, these kids trapping. They taking babies, legal kidnapping. Yelling me too, ain't no women laughing. They need a safe space like them Sigma Kappas. Yelling, ayo, I got some Africans in play, bro. Winning with the blackness, paying taxes, yelling, Lilo. Ayo, I got some Tinos on the payroll. Working for a purpose, blow a whistle for my paddle, saying, ayo. For my natives on the reserve, how I went for they land, they want it back, it's never say you're screaming, ayo. All my Akis give a lot and Kubi tops who praise the law, screaming, ayo. Nasty Bob on social. Shot him 8 times, yeah, he took that ocean. It ain't safe up in these streets, they poaching. Police will shoot you and collect their tokens. It ain't racist, that's what we've been told. But they murder based on color code. They hate you, try to bait you, say it ain't true, that's fake news. It's Triple K's versus the BPs. I know some Bloods, Crips, and BGDs. But now we drop out, just no degrees. But now we CEOs and VPs. This is payback for the slave trade. This is payback for the land they take. This is payback for the treaties made. That they breaking, we done made away. Screaming, ayo, 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 ayo. I got some Africans in play, bro. Blending with the blackness, paying taxes so they lay low. Ayo, I know some Tinos on the payroll. Working for a purpose, blow a whistle for my paddle, saying, ayo. For my natives on the reserve, how I went for they land, they want it back, it's never say you're screaming, ayo. All my Akis gives a lot and Kubi tops who praise the law, screaming, ayo, ayo, ayo. What y'all make some noise? Yeah. What's up? That's right, that's right, that's right. So remember, next time they pull up on you with that fuck shit, what we gonna say? That's right. Peace.
My guy, man. Let's give it up for Yidam Zek. World performer, CD Rooted, baby. You gotta love that. You guys, up next, I gotta give a shout out. He's actually my cousin. Literally, we stayed next door to each other and were blood and didn't know it for years. And that's sometimes how it goes in the black community, yes? Yeah. Let's give it up for Mafi D.
What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing today? If y'all love the black culture, let me hear Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's get this started, man. Play that joint. Yeah. Huh? Yeah. Hey, look, if y'all been going through some things right now, I know a lot been going on out in the world. I know y'all can feel it. Hey. I need help. I ain't feeling myself. I've been thinking too much. I'm killing myself. Can you check on me? I don't really feel well. What's wrong with me? Do I need mental health? Hey, I carry this patient well. I'm going through a lot, but you couldn't even tell. Niggas fall off, then it wasn't ever there. Niggas only show love when you're dead or in jail. Hey, I ain't never had to shut a nigga for a thing. What the fuck I look like? Nigga, I'm me. I call niggas every day, seeing what's good. When the last time y'all niggas called on me? I told my bitch, don't worry. You going through stress, then you can put the pain on me. I told my gang, don't trip. If we don't make it out, then you can put the blame on me. This thing on me, this can't on me. I stay low key, don't watch my moves. I got more to lose with another on the way. Yeah, I'm trying to stay safe. These bitches in my face, brought a stick in the club, cause these niggas hate. I gotta figure I'm the one that they imitate. Hey, and I'm a downfall, then you been a snake. My bitch said she love me when I penetrate. All day to day, hoes can't get caught. If I hit it, then you lucky, I let them suck cock. Wanna ride with me now, cause this shit hot. But where was you at when I was at the bus stop? I'm still low key when I bust knocks. Middle finger to the feds, cause I hate them that much. September 28th, and now I really can't clutch. Hard ass soft face, niggas better like me. I need help, I ain't feeling myself. I've been thinking too much. I'm killing myself. Can you check on me? I don't really feel well. What's wrong with me? Do I need mental health? Hey, I carry this patient well. I'm going through a lot, but you couldn't even tell. Niggas fall off, then it wasn't ever there. Niggas only show love when you dead or in jail. Hey, I had a falling out with my brother. You said to my brother, can I call you a brother? Shit, I ain't fucking with my baby mother. Shit being different, I don't know my baby mother. She said my niggas in the teen years, and I don't give a damn if a nigga try to fuck her. Daddy had a year, just enjoying my daughter while I'm chilling with my bitch. That's where all the problem started. Didn't leave the party, shall I started. Hit you at night, and I call you in the morning. You really my nigga, and I mean it from the bottom. Almost lost your life, and I was dead like I got him. How dare you say it on me, nigga? When you dare, you call me nigga. I always forgave, I never regret. My heart is too real, I never neglect. When you lack vision, I help you reflect. But nigga, you tripping, no disrespect. Check that bitch, I said it with my chest. Yeah, check that bitch, I said it with my chest. In order to build, you gotta invest. I don't acknowledge what's indirect. BWA, like Kevin Gates. I don't get tired, no time to rest. I need help, I ain't feeling myself. I've been thinking too much, I'm killing myself. Can you check on me? I don't really feel well. What's wrong with me? Do I need mental health? Hey, I carry this patient well. I'm going through a lot, but you couldn't even tell. Niggas fall off, then it wasn't ever there. Niggas only show love when you dead or in jail. Hey. Yes, sir. Shout out everybody that came out today. Love y'all.
All right, you guys, man. I don't know if y'all heard that, but literally what he was saying in the chorus, it was about mental health. He was asking and calling on his people, where y'all at? Are y'all here for me? Are y'all checking on me? And that is something that we need to do. We need to check on each other, check on our loved ones, make sure people are okay. And in that vein, you guys, I want to uplift a new center that is forming now. And we have one of their board members and one of their creators right here. Also, somebody rooted in this community. I'm going to give it up right now, you guys, for Imani Dinish with the Tubman Center.
Good evening, y'all. Welcome to Union Street. To the district. I'm representing as a founding board member of a public
health system opening its doors in 2025. We're now looking for a 25,000 square foot facility for our hospital. Not a clinic, not a van coming to check up on you, a health system. Okay? The one thing that's going to make ours is revolutionary is we're going to attack you, the person and individual and family, from a holistic approach. That's why when Sister Trayana told me, you know, and really broke down for me what King County Equity Now is, it took a lot of stress off of my head, because I'm like, well, what about defunding the police? And what about the health care? What about... There's a whole coalition of people fighting these battles, so some of us who are looking for places to jump in our fight, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. There's people already doing this, been doing this. So our board came together and said, well, what's going to make our hospital different? We said, we're going to look at everyone's clinical health care through the lens that you are a victim of systematic racial oppression. On either side of the coin, it's traumatic, because these changes are coming hard and fast. Okay? One of those, and where I'm dealing in, is social services and mental health. Did you hear what my young partner just said? He said, only checking on me when you're dead or in jail. Okay? Now, there's levels to life's problems. There are disruptions, there are crises, and then there are emergencies. What we can do to start now is start handling disruptions to your healthy lifestyle or crises to your healthy lifestyle before they become emergencies. It's just unfortunate that for black people and marginalized people, that our crises become and escalate to emergencies at the blink of an eye. Financial crises, in the blink of an eye, become emergencies. You're like George Floyd, who was trying to, I guess what, cash a fake check. And it turns into him dying. With Equity Now, if that was a black store back in the day, when I grew up here at Hector and Garnett's or Mr. Mayran or Mr. Richland, you come in there with some counterfeit money, you'd be like, man, go on with all that, man. Come back tomorrow or something like that. Maybe he'd give it to you on a loan, but that's the problem. Our disruptions to our healthy lifestyle, our crises becomes emergencies from 0 to 100. That's why it's poignant that during this COVID-19 crisis, I love the fact that all these people wearing masks. Think about how powerful that is. In fact, that knowing that that mask or face covering that you're wearing isn't necessarily going to let the virus germinate in you. It's you protecting someone else. This is not just a mask, this is a uniform. This is a uniform of empathy, a uniform of love, and wear it with pride. People saying, oh, it makes me uncomfortable. You know what's unfucking comfortable? Being in a hospital, not being able to breathe, living under and around a bunch of people who don't empathize with you, when you're the only one that looks like you in your workplace or your job, suffocating under systematic oppression. I'm very thankful that Seattle Public Health, Washington State Department of Health, called systemic racism a public health crisis. That's a big deal. And I was marching with the brother and sister doctors and nurses up there in Harborview Hospital, went down to City Hall, made a bunch of noise, and that was great. Mental health, social services can even start as far as checking each other's temperature like you do now when you have to go in certain establishments. I say that because when I grew up on 17th and Union, my first house, in between the time I walked from 17th and Union down to 23rd, I might have 20 different elders, brothers, sisters ask me, how you doing?
Talk about it.
How you living? How your mom doing? How your dad doing? How your sister doing? I ain't seen you in a minute. You still working at the place? And a lot of us don't want people in our business or whatnot, but it's time to get in each other's business. That's the problem. That's how they divide us, and that's how they have us with these clinical illnesses that lead to death. Because deal with it alone and we harbor it alone. You need to reach out and check each other's temperatures. I want each one of you today to talk to somebody that you don't know and get their phone number and say, you know what, I'm going to text you good morning every morning. That's all I'm going to do. I don't need to know your address or nothing like that. Sometimes that makes the difference between life and death. Also, with the systematic oppression that we've been dealing with, my father right here, Umeme Danish, see, he wasn't suffocated on the ground per se, but he was suffocated through years of systematic stress and strain and not knowing if the police is going to jack him and pull him over, worried about me as a black man growing up, stressing when I'm home an hour late. I used to think I was getting in trouble out an hour late because he might think I'm out kicking. He wants to know if I'm alive. He wants to make sure my sister is alive and not being traumatized by people who've been traumatized. It's like hurt people hurt people. That's a real thing, you know? The thing about the Tubman Center, named after Big Sister Harriet Tubman, who was also a nurse, for the Union Army, also the first woman in United States military history to lead an armed expeditionary force in the combat. So I'm asking you in her spirit to do the simple things and start and build a culture of empathy. Now that we have the world's attention, now that we have each other's attention, in this day and age, 2020, with the technology to see what people are going through, start looking at other people as souls, as dreamers. Funny I use that term, as people with goals, people with lives, people who are valuable to someone. This is momentous for me. Like I said, my first home was on 17th and Union. My second home was on 24th and Pike. First time I ever had a yard and a dog. Third home was down on 27th and Union. I get to perform in front of the cat. I know his dad. You know, he used to be a cat. He used to check my temperature, making sure that everything was okay. Big DJ. Let's start that culture. Let's plant a tree whose shade we will never sit under. That's how society grows. Start with a spirit of empathy. And the side effects of that prescription I'm giving you are hope, love, togetherness, willing to fight and die for each other. That's what happens. This system we're fighting against was established and created over 400 years ago by smart, sick, pedophile rapists, okay? Who were very determined and greedy. So we don't need another 400 years to combat this and get right back, but we've got all day. There's nothing worth more in your life to do than to check on the next brother or sister of yours and make sure that they're fighting with you, to make sure they're equipped to go. Check on yourself. You need to do some self-care. Use this quarantine time to do something to better yourselves. Your mind, body, and spirit. And that's what type of health care you're going to get when you come into our center. You might come in and say, oh, I'm having serious lower back pain. I need to see, your massage therapist. But I'm going to say, where are you sleeping at? Oh, I'm sleeping in my car. You're sleeping in your car. Okay. How are we going to get you out of that? That's the holistic approach. That's the holistic approach that Sister Trayana told me about Equity Now. So we're looking at the individual, case-by-case basis of how to try to help you fix your whole life from a trauma-informed approach. This food desert that's going on over on 23rd and Jackson. They wonder why there's diabetes and hypertension and high blood pressure in people of color communities. All you get to eat is a piece of fried chicken and a grab bag of Doritos every fucking day. That's why places like PCC, they already got it covered at Equity Now. They're working on that. And that makes me feel good on that, in that regard of healthcare. Since we're in the CD,
And I'm going to be a little selfish here. I know this is about a collective deal. But I got to ask y'all, we in the city, let's stand up. We got to win this together. I know when I was young, doing my thing, might have some older guy buy a beer, you know, you don't get it loaded, but 3 dudes sharing a 40, there's just something about it, you know what I mean? It's you're together. There's an old school saying, I'd rather starve with a player than splurge with a square. Meaning you want this is what's important, that we're together in this. So I'm gonna say, we all we got.
We all we got.
We all we got.
We all we need.
We all we got.
We all we need.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys, it really makes me proud to be a part of a coalition that is literally working on the answers. Let's give it up for the Tubman Center. I'm so pumped because we have the right people in the right places making the right choices, and that makes me very happy. Up next, we're going to hear a little bit more history, and then we're going to turn right back up. We're going to listen right now to Sherman, someone who actually has called the CD home for many years. Sherman!
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. First and foremost, I want to say that it's a privilege and an honor to have the ability to have your attention at this time. I'm very grateful to God for this. You're listening to a man that's been through so many different things. I grew up on 21st and Union, 1446, from 1985 to maybe a little bit into almost the 90s. And I can say growing up in this community was attacked because there's organizations that fought against this community by allowing officers to use this as their testing ground. So today, you're looking at a survivor of a person that was pushed around, bullied around by officers and plotted on to have to do time and all these little things that happen. I overcame that, and you're looking at a survivor. They put weed and seed in our communities. I survived it. Kevin Glass, I survived it. I'm just thankful to be on this side to say that as an adult, as a younger man, I couldn't see the plots. I couldn't understand that there's secret organizations that work against certain groups of people to make sure that they don't rise and elevate and have fairness and equality. And I'm just grateful to be able to be mature enough to see through that. What I would like to see, I do believe Black lives do matter, but I don't get caught up on that because it can get watered down and convoluted and we can lose sight. So no disrespect to that, but what I would like to see, what my own thoughts, how I think, I would like to see a Black community, our own Black hospital, operated, owned by Black people, our own grocery stores, operated and owned by Black people, our own schools, operated and owned, our own bank, operated and owned by Black people, so that we can have our own community and begin to generate something for ourselves. And I think that's fair when we look at the piece of pie. So, you know, I'm grateful to have this opportunity to be able to at least plant the seed in a heart or a mind that would create a change. We know that it takes time, the process that it takes to see the manifestation of what you want to come forward. I just say that's what I believe would be the start for us so that we can have fairness and equality amongst our people. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Sherman. Man, that's what I'm talking about, man. You guys are hearing some amazing things and actually seeing some amazing talent. I'm going to bring some amazing talent back to the stage right now. You guys give it up for MTM.
I'll go first.
Let's get it.
I'm gonna start spaz on that.
I know you know that there's been a lot of murders in the city. How do you still enjoy yourself being a man, right? Being a young man? How do you still conduct yourself?
These niggas all cap, they just press record. I ain't tryna rap, nigga, I'm tryna stretch this raw. But my mama proud of me, swear son a star. But ain't no feeling like that feeling when I whip the boy. I got my young life with me, still place to call. And have an order across the border, we got almond joys. I'm just tryna dodge the narcs and the letter boys. They gave my cutty 40 years, he only 24. But every day he lived through me, make sure his spirit soars. All these bitches in my face, but I've been getting bored. Unless they talk about some chicken, baby, I was born. It's MTN, we bound to win, we tryna make the board.
I'm getting quiet, baby, this is what I do, hella smooth. Please don't call my phone if it ain't blue. Woke up in the morning, I was in it taking red. It's a nigga on my right and it's a nigga on my left. When I get that bitch, you bitches let the kid for dead. Never put my trust in bitches, cause that's what my mama said. Nigga, you can't tell me shit, cause I ain't tryna hear it. Bitch, don't call my phone, I'm tripping, I ain't tryna hear it, eh. I'm just a young bull, dirty gang, dirty tool. Matter of fact, it's dirty in my cup, I'm leaning in the booth. It's in the clip right next to me, you try some guarantee we shoot. Lady like a genie, get him gone and all you hear is shoot.
Fucked up a couple pies just to get my rent right. I ain't like the bitch, I just found this shit the whole time. Gang in them trenches, I bet them niggas slide the night. On that last case, it was hard for me to sleep at night. Trying to steer them up, just think about, oh no life, I need a life. Trying to have these damn feelings, young life, set the engine for a killing. Boogie need a whole thing and Boogie in the kitchen.
I gotta let him know what. Tell me. All right, MT, you ready? All right. You guys, we got one more young performer. Javed.
Oh yeah, you hear me? It's Jigga, it's MTM Jigga. I'm gonna go ahead and rap this song about, you know, my cousin, he died right up here. You know, they shot him dead. I can't feel me. So, man, I was just saying, I can't feel him, really. You feel me? I can't really feel him. I can't feel him. And my brother's right here. My brother's right here to support me, you feel me? I can't feel him no more. When they shot my cousin dead, they left his body on the floor. I can't feel him no more. When these niggas hit my phone, I can't answer no more. I can't feel him no more. They shot my cousin dead and left his body on the floor right there, man. I can't feel him no more. Through all this pain I went through, got no feelings no more. I ain't got no feelings no more. Tryna numb the pain with the drug, just pull me a four and pop the perk. And now I'm all in my zone. But I keep thinking about my niggas that's dead and gone. Man, that shit hurt. I'm tryna have a plan, tryna have my niggas on tour with me in Sprinter vans. Like, hey, first I gotta get them bands, then I'm finna be the man. Everybody wanna come be my friend, yeah. You can't trust like every man, cause some niggas got their own plan and got their own secret agenda. You gotta play smart in the streets, remember. Make it trap hard in the snow in December. I don't know what to tell her. I don't know what to tell her. I don't feel it no more. My cousin dead, I left his body on the floor. So, I can't feel him no more. Through all this pain I went through. My phone. What? I can't feel him no more. All this left his body on the floor. Man, they left his body on the floor right there. I was right there, man. Right over there. RP Royale.
All right. Thank you, guys. You guys are hearing the messages of so many people today. And I want to take some time here to get this energy and uplift it all. I'm going to bring to the stage a brother and sister duo team who has been creating amazing things together and apart for many years. Let's give it up for Geneva and O.R. Arunga.
Go, Geneva!
You got a mic stand?
Let's get it, Geneva. Come on. Yo, the face girl. Yo.
How you guys feeling? Good. I go by the name of Dada Bass, for those of you guys who aren't aware. But, thank you. Letter of resignation. Since I was a child, the thought of being near you, it would make me smile. See, I flew miles just to call you home, and you took me for granted like a possession you own. The freedoms that you offer, they cost me every day. And it's something you always remind me that you can take away. People dying in the war. People shot up on the block. My people chased down and shot face down by the cops. It's got to stop. America, the land of blood on its hands and black lives forget-me-nots. Killing you, killing me, killing. That's all I ever see. And if I'm too smart, I'm too white. And if I'm too black, I'm not right. I gotta work twice. Plus, I'm a woman, so I gotta work thrice. Labels like mad black woman just don't fit me right. You can't figure me out. It must be draining. America, you should pay me just to keep track of all the stereotypes that you see in me every day. It's a disaster. They tell us to pull our straps up. We pull ourselves up. They call us bastard like they moving faster, see? Cause they don't want to see us move past them. From Katrina to Black Wall Street, Oscars to the Grammys, America, I see you. You can't stand me. Proud of my melanin. In fact, if I had a choice in the next life, I'd come back black again. Cause frankly, all I see ass shots and lip injections, like we weren't born from the best perspectives. They used to shame us till we lost it. Now they charging us to get it, call it boss chick. That sound like more than just a spending habit. This is sad shit. Trying to get established in a world that laughs at us. Dear America, I love you, but I gotta find a way to keep from going crazy, feeling like I'm in a daze. See this image that you made me and made me see. I can't keep being the scapegoat. I can't keep being the punching bag. Same old tired stories like that's all we ever had. No, fuck that. I'm beautiful, I'm black, and you can see that. While my people are silenced, treating us like we're mindless, we define our blackness. Our blackness don't define us. Dear America, I love you, but I don't know what else to say except we can't go on this way. Thank you.
All right, that's the CD, y'all. That's the CD, y'all. Oh, my word. Thank y'all for blessing us with that. We got another young brother ready to bless us with his vocals, y'all. Let's give it up for Solly Wap.
Yo, how's everybody doing? Nah. How everybody's doing? We gotta be teed up, man. I don't even, I'm really from the city, the south side, so this is our day.
It's East Side Day, too.
It's Solid.
Chill Will want to say something to the people. Come up here, Chill Will. We got an East Union official. Come up here, man. This is his block. Come on, Will. What you got to say to the people, man? What you got to say to the people, man? Give it to them, man.
What's up with it? How y'all doing? Yeah, how y'all doing? I love this. But this is what we gonna really say. We dig all of that participation and all that help and all that Black Lives Matter and all that white life that's helping this black life. But it's a difference. When you ain't been through it, you can see it, but when you ain't been through it, you guys had that police station hemmed up. I've been handcuffed underneath that police station.
Right, put it up there now.
You know, you dig what I'm saying? We don't want that motherfucker too. But we don't want nobody robbing nobody, stealing nothing, taking nothing from us. I don't want my mama getting hit upside the head and somebody takes something from her. So all that chop, they could have the first table, seat at the table with them people. You know, on underneath the black experience. And that's what it really need to be focused on. You got all these groups. You got the gay, LBGT is gay month. We ain't tripping about that. We from Seattle. We seen it all around here. Hang on, we with that. But it's the Cancer Society. Well, I ain't giving up to Mike till I put it down. The Cancer Society. We got all the groups that do all this protesting, marching. They do all that shit, but all that shit come up under the Civil Rights Act of 1954 and 1965.
Amen. Say something.
So they come from the black folks that was marching, that was doing all that shit. It wasn't no white folks marching and doing that shit. They was telling us we don't want that. We don't need you. We don't want you in none of that shit that we doing. Okay? So what we telling you right now, you know, we dig all that participation, but it's still been going on. They got the police. His grandfather was a police. His uncle was a police. Them motherfuckers been trained the same way. We gonna tear your ass up, and you better not do nothing. And it's like they say, systematic. You ain't talked to the motherfuckers that been in that jail. You talking to these niggas that's running around here acting like they activists. They ain't acting nothing. They just acting. And I don't care who you is. I bet you won't say nothing to me. And that's how it goes. And I'm telling you, you need to be, we don't need them motherfuckers, but we need them motherfuckers, and we need the right ones. That's going to help what we do.
Thank you.
And that's from one of the things that go down. Hold up, little mama.
Sorry, I gotta finish the. I gotta finish the program.
Let me just do this.
Can you guys give it up for him?
No.
I'm sorry, yeah.
We gonna do this. Okay, so I got some more to say, and I'm not finna let her stop me.
You will be able to say it. No, I gotta go on with the program. I appreciate it though.
We gonna get the program done. I just need a couple more minutes. All
right. All right. Yes.
I don't even need the mic. I don't even need the mic.
Okay.
But this is how
you gonna get?
Yeah.
Just participation.
Yeah.
We support.
We appreciate everybody participating. I want to.
Let me just say, I don't care. No. What we don't need is us. Let the word come out, and then I'm finna go. Because I got respect. So let me say what I got to say. We gonna try to make this where we incorporate everything in together to one movement. It don't need to be this over here.
You can give them the mic.
This over here. It don't need to be all that.
I just gotta
it need to be one movement. When you got your own thing, you need to be like, we down with Black Lives Matter. We down with black folks. It don't need to be, we bringing our other thing over here and we saying this, we saying this. No, we down for what black folks is talking about. We ain't down for everybody else's other agenda. Fuck with us. Everybody else's agenda gonna be happy.
Come on now.
Like how it go.
Yeah.
We don't want nothing else but y'all to say what's happening. We've been sitting in the other side looking at it. We done made contributions to everything in this motherfucking country. They talking about this monuments. How the hell you gonna have a Confederate monument that was treasonous against the United States and you sit up in here acting like it's the coolest shit in the world?
Yeah.
What the hell you talking about?
Right.
We've been on the right side of the whole history of this United States. On both sides. They had black folks that fought for the British and they live in England. They got black folks that fought on the other side and live in Nova Scotia. They let them motherfuckers go free because they fought for them. They was trying to get their freedom. You know, they got niggas up around here, they didn't get none of that and fought the whole time.
Yeah.
You know, stand up and respect that. How come ain't no statue of Sojourner Truth? John Brown. Matt motherfucking Turner. Up in there, how come ain't no goddamn statues? There was freedom fighters that was trying to get freedom in the world. And in the United States, we got these Confederate motherfuckers talking about, we gonna make you guys, we gonna show you guys 70 years after the Civil War, we gonna show you we had you under our feet. And it goes down, and we real, it goes down to them Abraham Lincolns, them George Washingtons, them, only one that had no slaves was Adams. They was abolitionists. Read your history. Read your history. Where are them motherfuckers that the abolitionists that helped the slaves? They had the Underground Railroad. You know? So I'm just telling you, I'm from this area. I grew up around here. My grandmother taught at TT Minor for 50 years. Miss Willis. You know, and if you ever went to TT Minor, she was your teacher. You know, we from this area, man, and we don't like none of this shit, but it's elevation. It's how it go, evolution. They gonna do that. But it needs to be some in-hand cooperation. They went rioting, but they didn't tear up this neighborhood. I wasn't having that. And that's on me. And you don't know nobody else. There ain't nobody gonna tear this up. I grew up around here, right there. You know, so we weren't gonna do that, but we telling you the truth, man. You know, you got all these leaders. I don't know what no leader is. You gotta be able to lead people. You gotta bring them to your organization and have them follow you. It can't be 20,000 opinions on one thing. We're gonna treat black folks right. And that's the only opinion we got. Hold up, back up off me. I'm gonna give you the mic. I'm gonna give you the mic.
Thank y'all.
We need the older heads to show us how to lead. They killed our last leader.
Yes.
We're young. We don't know what we're doing.
True. Come
I'm
on,
a
they'll
fucking
take it.
cook.
Yes.
And now I gotta be a revolutionary. I have no guidance.
Yes. We gonna build this back together. We all is one and one for all. It takes all of us. It's not just us, it takes all of us. We need your help. You need our help. We're gonna make this city better. We're gonna make this neighborhood better.
Together.
Period.
That's literally
Together.
what the coalition style is all about. What Will is talking about is real. At the end of the day, there's people that have been here in this community that have been putting their feet in the ground, in the soil for this community. And we invite all of y'all to be on the side of right, okay? That's what I say. It's all about the new normal, right? So with that, you guys, are you guys ready? Okay, okay. Making sure everybody is ready. Because we still got a lot of folks here, and it's time to hear from one more singer, y'all. If you guys know anything about Sisters Rock the Arts, let me tell you, you guys have seen this brother putting it down very well. Let's give it up for Fish Hooks. There it is.
What's up, y'all? Yeah! With all this madness going on in the world, you know what I'm saying, there's only one power up there that we got to reach out to. You know what I'm saying? When we're all in agreement, things will really happen in a great way. But as long as we're divided, we're going to have problems. Let's stick together. Go ahead and hit that track. Can I get y'all's hands clapping? Come on. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And the belief in you. and the faith to make it through. Oh yeah, thank God I got the power and the belief in you. Because the power and belief, it comes from you. In all of our lives, it seems at times we don't know where we're going. Day after day, the same old thing, nothing changes. Oh yeah, punching the clock to go to work to pay the bills, day after day. Oh yeah, alarm goes up in the morning. Thank God for you giving me the strength to do it all again. Thank God I got the power and the faith to make it through. Oh yeah, thank God I got the power and the belief in you. Oh yeah, thank God I got the power and the faith to make it through. Oh yeah, thank God I got the power and the belief in you. Because the power and belief, it comes from you. Only God can give you the power that you need. With all your heart and soul, you must believe. Only God can give you the power that you need. With all your heart and soul, you must believe. Thank God I got the power and the faith to make it through. Oh yeah, thank God I got the power and the belief in you. Because the power and belief, it comes from you. Sorry about my track, but I don't need no track. I hope y'all listen to what I'm trying to tell you right now. I got a quick message. We are all brothers and sisters. We are all brothers and sisters of the human race. And for us to join together, we have to have oneness in agreement. Unity is all about agreement, that you deserve the kind of life that I deserve, that nobody gets treated any way that's different from with the self-respect and dignity that we all deserve. There is no lower class, because we all come from one place. We are all born in God's image. We might come from different places, but I'm going to tell you, man, I'm colorblind. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what color you are. If you're my brother, you're my brother. And that should be the same way with black folks. When you see a black person, don't clutch onto your purse, because the TV is going to give you a false image of what black people are. That's the biggest problem that we have, is the only image that people have of black people is what's on TV. We don't live the life of love and hip-hop. That ain't us. That ain't who we are. We go to work every day. We feed our families. We love each other. So just recognize, man, don't be a part of the hype. Be a part of the real people, man. So God bless y'all. Thank you.
Wow, y'all. Today has been an amazing 4th of July, yes? We promised you guys today was a day of action, and you guys have been doing a lot to listen and learn. I'm going to bring KY King Garrett back up to bring it right back to the action. Let's hear it for KY King Garrett.
Man, this has been a powerful day. I want to shout out our DJ, Top Spin. I want to shout out the whole planning team. The planning team. Can we get the planning team to come to the stage? They've been doing late nights, 12 o'clock, Zoom calls, in place. Can we get the King County Equity Now 4th of July planning team? Planning team. They worked hard to put this together. It's been a beautiful event on the U. Been a beautiful event. Seeing our young people. You hear our young people expressing their pain that they're going through. Their peers getting killed right on the street. We need a lot of healers in our community right now. We got to heal to build. We got to heal within our families, and we got to heal within our communities. Because the op can't look like the person in the mirror. That don't make sense. So let's give it up, y'all, for our team right here. Trey Holiday, Kashayla, Sister Nura, Sister Sophia, Yasmin, Tay-May, 4th generation right here, family owned. 8 properties right here. Wale on the marketing.
We got Elijah and Ed out there.
Elijah, Ed keeping us safe, coordinating the safety so they couldn't just drive through here and run over people. Everybody that showed up on the safety team, everybody documenting what's going on, documenting history. It's a historical day on the U. I used to live at 1112 24th Avenue. 1990, 91, the height of the crack era, so you know what was going on right here. But let's give it up one more time. Make some noise, show some love. All the performers. So yeah, we talked about, this is a day of action, so we didn't just come out to be in the streets, because when it starts raining, we need to be in spaces. So we want to go over here and deliver a message to PCC, a new resident or neighbor in the community. They said they want to be good neighbors, you know, and we want to define what that means. Pay the fee, that's exactly, say pay the fee.
Pay the fee.
Pay the fee.
Pay the fee.
Free the land.
Free the land.
Free the land.
Free the land.
You know, it's cool, you know, some of the police want to take a knee, but like I said, and like you heard, what we really need is for their bosses to what?
Pay the fee.
That's right, and it's cool when they want to hug and hold hands, but what we really need is bands and the land, okay? That's it, bands in the land, repair rations, all right? So we want to go share, because the PCC CEO couldn't make it out today to join us for whatever reasons. So we're going to go give a message that we need to set up a meeting so they can talk to the community about how they're going to participate in the anti-displacement strategy. Because coming in and being an anchor tenant for a building that most of our community that been here can't afford to live in, and even the jobs, they say they want to hire from the community, but with the wages, you still can't afford to live in that building,
Right.
or this building. So the only building you can afford to live in is the ones that we're putting up, like Liberty Bank Building, Africa Town Plaza. So we need them to contribute to that. Does that make sense? So their employees don't have to come 2 hours from Kent and Covington and Algona Pacific and Vancouver, Washington, trying to work back in the CD. So we need them to invest. We need them to pay the fee. It only makes sense. We need them to support the development, like Nikita said. We need the black co-op. Some people don't know there used to be black co-op grocery stores in the CD, the Black Front Co-op. So we need to bring that legacy back to our community. And they can help since they got the knowledge and the expertise of how to make co-ops work successfully. We want to make sure black products, we got our vendors on the streets, but we want our vendors' products inside the PCC. And not just this PCC, all the PCCs. And if they got co-op friends in other states, we want our black products from the Central District in those co-ops too. We know that cooperative economics is the way that we're going to be able to get up and be strong again as a community. Cooperative economics. That's what co-op is, ownership. The young folks on this stage that love this community, that's living and dying for this community, we want them to own some of this community, right? That's what the cooperative economics is about. That's what King County Equity Now is about. And it's about all black lives. We got some people putting out some misinformation that are not connected to this community, not rooted in this community, but just because they set up an organization that uses the name Black Lives Matter, they want to try to control what's going on and then put out misinformation. So, again, nothing about us without us. Nothing about us without us. And when we say Black Lives Matter, we're talking about all lives. There don't need to be no hyphen, no other subgroup. Every black life deserves to grow and thrive. And that's what we're here standing about. Okay? So we're going to go and take a letter to the CEO. We'd like y'all to join us. Go in the store. I don't know if you've been in there yet. But we could go in there. They could show us where their black section is, too, if they got one. I don't know if they got one yet, if they got a CD black section yet. But we definitely want to see it, right? Because we need equity. We need equity on the shelves. And we need that frontal display. You know, when you walk right in the store, we want to see that display. We don't want to be way in the back on the lowest shelf. We need that prime time location. We need space so we can breathe. Got to get the knee off our neck. And we don't want PCC, because it's supposed to be a community type thing, you know, co-op, owned by the members. We don't want them to be part of having the knee on our neck in the CD and in the South End. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to walk right in here, see if the manager's there. I know the CEO couldn't make it out today, but we're going to get a date, and we'll do it in public, because we don't need to have meetings with the mayor here, there, you know, in her office. It's COVID. We could get on a Zoom and the whole community could see. Because if you go to King County Equity Now, our demands, our requests, our solutions are very clear. So all they need to do is make a progress report from week to week on how they're making progress on freeing up the land and paying the fee. It's very simple. It's very simple. Let's not make it complicated. Let's not make it complicated. We got to run it up, because they ran it up on our backs. They ran it up on our backs. The wealth of this nation was run up on our backs of our great-great-great-grandparents that came here from Louisiana, from Texas, from Arkansas, from these different places, Alabama, after they terrorized them and lynched them to steal their land. Understand, the lynchings were about economics. They were stealing our land the same way they stole it with predatory lending, with weed and seed. So, again, I think it's very clear. They even passed a law in the Washington State Legislature last year, HB 1918, 1918, and it said that the government, through its various different capital projects, has negatively impacted, harmed, and damaged the black community in the Central District. It's in the law. And when we say capital projects, we mean like when they made a new street, finally, not for us, but this was a wipeout of the rest of the black businesses that was here in many ways. So again, the damages are clear, so now it's time to get to the repair. So that's why we say repair rations, reparations. Tomorrow, we want reparations tomorrow? No. We want equity tomorrow? No. We want equity when? Now. We want repair rations when? Now. We want them to do what? Take a knee? No. What we want them to do? Pay the fee. All right, so let's go in and deliver the, you know, the invoice, the invoice for the fee to PCC, y'all. We going in. so we can get a tour of the new PCC in our community. We're going in, y'all. Y'all having a tour yet? We want to, since it's, you know, we want to see the Black Central District section first. Listen, everybody's welcome to come on in and see what's going on in the PCC, Puget Consumer Co-op. Let's go. Let's see what's going on. Hey. We like, is the manager here? Is the manager here? Can we get the manager, please? Can we get a manager? Can we get a manager? Community residents, come to the new PCC. Is the manager here?
It's rally right here. Hold on. Let me bring it down. Let's just try to de-escalate. Let's try to de-escalate this. Let's just try to bring this down, guys. You know, it's a lot of worse shit than going to jail, like a flashbang, shrapnel, or something. Let's bring this down. Let's bring this shit down. So we see him grabbing the umbrella. There's the spray. There's the spray. There's the spray. Now it's on now.